Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to this week. Holy banana bread. This is our last Sunday show before the big day. Before Christmas. Oh, wow. This year has absolutely flown by. And we're not even talking slow. It's been a fast year. It's definitely been a fast year. Oh, wow. So, one piece of business we'll hit right away. We do have a show tomorrow, so tomorrow's show has been earned. Tomorrow, of course, we got the Financial Express going on, so we'll have an opportunity if we want to add a show on Tuesday. Now the Wednesday show, guys, it's a little early because the market closes at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're actually going to start at 1:30. We're going to start at 12:30 Eastern. So a whole full half hour before the market closes, and we'll ride it into the holidays. And of course, guys, as usual, Thursday, I'm here for the Christmas Day stream. So we will have our Christmas Day stream. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. That's the one where I always say, guys, don't show up if you got family stuff to do. Don't show up. But yeah, if you got nothing better to do, or you're you just want a break from screaming kids or whatever's going on, that stream will be there for you for sure, and the replay, of course, as well. Oh, nice. There we go. We got most of that out of the way. We will have on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, that interview I did with a couple of the guys over there at 9 Point, that will finally be dropping on Tuesday. So I'm excited about that. And Friday's video, I already know what this one's going to be. I have it scripted already. So Friday, if you guys remember last week, we looked at I did a prediction video on some of the stocks, the ones to watch for this year. Well, I also made a prediction video on some sectorial ETFs to take a look at and to watch. So I'm going to break that one down, and we're going to see how I did on that one. That will be coming up on Friday. So we know now the next week. We got an idea what next week looks like. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is it's a busy time of year, but it's also one of my favorite times of year. So and then I'm getting something I have not had yet this year. I have 2 days off because I got nothing to do on Friday and nothing to do on Saturday. So I'm getting my Friday, Saturday this year. That'll be my holidays, Friday and Saturday. So I think I will. I think I'll like. Well, technically Saturday I think is Boxing Day. So what can I say? What can I say? Now, the topic of today's stream, of course, is about the Santa Claus rally. We're going to talk a little bit about that. The TSX has had a great year. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. The TSX has beat the S&P 500, not by a little, but by a lot. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And I'm just wondering, could we get a really big Santa Claus rally this year? So we're gonna talk about that, and I want to hear you guys' opinions. So we'll get to that as well. But before we do, oh boy, you guys are active in the chat. Let's jump on in. Let's say hello. We will start with Prairie. Hello, Prairie. Now, you guys have been getting a lot of snow in the prairies, so hopefully it's not too bad now. Hopefully it stopped blowing and falling, all of that. So Prairie says, good afternoon. Happy Sunday and season's greetings to the community. Absolutely, absolutely. I almost wore a Santa hat for this one. I almost wore a Santa hat. But I'm like, no. Save it for the Christmas Day. We'll save it for the Christmas Day one. Bismarcky says, happy Sunday all. Claude says, hello. Damn, the year went by fast. It sure did. It sure did. We've got Lisa in the house with hello, everyone. And King a Day. King a Day is here. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Looks like we might be getting the Santa rally after all. Let's go. Yeah, a mega Santa rally. It's like Canada. Canada did nice. Canada's on the nice list this year. The U.S., well, maybe not. Maybe not. Morley says hello to everyone, and we've got Muggsy in the house with the greetings all. Bismarcky, is Canada wrapping all our gifts? I've been busy at it all day. I have. Now, I know I got your addresses all written down somewhere. I'll find that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure, you'll have a visit from Candace Claus coming down your chimney this year. I'm sure of it. Maybe. Rory says, afternoon, got an order for Blackberry trade. See how I do? I'm very bullish on BlackBerry, and this is not a short-term bullish because it's going to be. I think we're going to have a lot of ups and downs over the next, I would say, year before we really start seeing what's going on with quantum computing. And quantum computing is they're basically if the front stage right now, if front and center on the stage right now is AI, quantum computing is they're waiting in the wings, waiting for their turn, and it'll come sooner than later for sure. All right, a 29 says, "Hey Candace, do you feel that MSTE will ever rally?" Do I feel like it will ever rally? I'm not optimistic of a rally anytime soon. Um, One of the problems with MSTE is it's tied to the price of Bitcoin a lot. So obviously, if we do get this big rally that I'm hoping to see, we could get a bit of a rally with MSTE. But we got that other factor too. The Michael Saylor basically diluting shares to buy more Bitcoin. That's kind of pushing it down a little bit. However, it would make sense to me if we're in the middle of a rally. If I was Michael Saylor, I'd wait to the other side of the rally to buy a bunch more Bitcoin. So yeah, we could see something. But MSTE is it's not an ETF for low conviction folk, for sure. If you don't like the ups and downs of a roller coaster ride, especially when it involves your money, that's one to avoid for that reason. But if you have good conviction, it's not at a bad place if you have that conviction. It's outside of my risk profile. I don't mind getting exposure to it in HHIS, but it is outside of my risk profile per se. Scott is in the house with a good afternoon all. And Scratch is here. Good Sunday afternoon, everyone. All right. Claude says, it seems the markets will open January 2nd. Yeah, so we got so there's some holidays coming up on the TSX. So first of all, they're closed, of course. We'll start with Wednesday. Wednesday's a half day, so they close at 1 p.m. They are closed on both the 25th, which is the Thursday, and the 26th, which is the Friday. So they are closed for 2 days after that. And then everything is back to normal until the 1st of January. They are closed on the 1st of January. So I don't even know what day that is. That's a Thursday. So then they will open on the last day of, not the last day of I was going to say the last day of the month. Nope. They will open the last day of that week, January 2nd. And then pretty much business as usual. So yeah, the markets will be back to normal as of January 2nd. But until then, we got a few closed days, and it'll be interesting. But here's that thing. So, I mean, typically, when we're talking Santa Claus rally, it technically doesn't begin until just, the first couple of days after Christmas, going into the first couple trading days of January. So it'll be interesting to see how that is going to roll out, because, guys, I mean, look here. Let's just Actually, here, let me do it this way. And let me pull this up here for a moment. Um, what the heck is that? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's Tesla, folks. Ignore Tesla. We're going to come up here to the TSX. So as you can see here, once again, we did hit all-time highs again on Friday. On Friday. So this is what we're seeing. So we have, even though there's still some loan loss. I was going to say loan loss provisioning. Okay, sure. Even though we have tax loss harvesting, we are still seeing this rally. And look at this. The end of the week. The end of the week. It's like Canada is basically almost in this thing that's like, all right, we're heading into a weekend. Let's load up on stocks. Let's push the market higher. We've gotten it the last couple weeks in a row. So I am, well, look at it this way. The end of the fall, not this week, but the next week, that will be kind of towards the end of the Santa Claus rally. And if this trend keeps on going, we could have, well, we could have all-time highs to mark the end of a very successful Santa rally. And it's almost looking like, you know, I don't see a lot of stimulus next week, at least negative stimulus or catalysts that, you know, can really pull that market down, other than we got, well, sitting in the White House, that's where the Grinch lives. So if the Grinch tries something else, you know, maybe we'll have a little bit of trouble in Whoville, but we will see. We will see. For now, I'm expecting a Santa rally. I'm expecting a Santa rally. I'm feeling good about it. So let's see what happens. Now, here's the thing. This is what I expect. What do you guys expect? That's the question I'm putting out there. You know, are we getting a Santa rally, or is you know, President Grinch down there going to try to mess it up? You know, maybe he will. Maybe he'll start that war with Venezuela. I hope not. I hope not. And I want to talk about Venezuela a little bit too. In a little bit later. A little bit later. Why? I'm not going to talk about everything I want to talk about right away. We'll run out of things to talk about, or we won't. You guys always have questions. Rusty Pot Brewer with a good afternoon, all. And A is in with a good afternoon. Oh, and guys, we have Mary in the house. Mary is our official captain of the like button. So guys, more than ever, if you want to get on Mary's good side, if you want to help out the channel, help out the algorithm, hit that like button. And guys, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to have some coffee since you're really, really busy clicking a mouse. Oh, very good. Very, very good. And Tom, Air Canada is way up. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Let's take a gander. Woo, that's the wrong one. This is the one. Let's head on over here to Air Canada. So, as you know, in the 0 to 100K challenge, I have a running trade. I've got this running little swing trade with Air Canada. So basically, when it's under $19, I buy, and I will sell at $21. And I'll just keep it going. I don't care how long it takes. It's a very long-term trade. So yeah, look at this right now. Air Canada has moved back up above $19. Now I did get a buy-in this month though. I did. They were below $19 for at least a tiny bit. But right now they're sitting at $19.51. Let's see where Air Canada goes from here. Could we get to 21 before the end of the month? I'm going to say probably not. But I will say this, every time I've said probably not with Air Canada, they've flown over my expectations. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, with this one, I'm okay with Air Canada taking its good old time. I'm in no hurry. No hurry. Now, I will point out, that's the 0 to 100K challenge in the TFSA. I will swing Air Canada outside of that, and that's a different story. Right now, I actually recently sold, and I've been waiting for a new entry point, but so far, Air Canada has not been giving me an entry point. I'm looking for an under $19 entry point on that one, so we will see how that goes. But right now, things are looking up. Things are looking up. All right. Mayor says the DAX also beat the S&P 500 this year outside of the AI bubble trade. The Trump trade, including crypto, has been miserable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I love tech. I'm a big technology fan. I guess I can go big screen. I should be going, guys, I should stop being lazy. I gotta start clicking big screen when we're not looking at something, because it's the thing, it's the right thing to do. But yeah, no, I am a big fan of the Nasdaq, of technology in general. I'm incredibly bullish on where a lot of different technology is heading. When you look at AI, the best comparison to AI is the internet. I mean, when the internet came, it changed everything. It changed the world, like literally. Well, AI is doing that exact same thing. So, just something to keep in mind. Like how many, like I know a couple of years ago, I could have asked you, how many of you use AI? And maybe a few of you did. But now, let me ask that once again, how many of you use AI? I will bet I will bet more than 75% of you use AI in one way, shape, or form. It's that transformative. So, and it's a huge time saver. It is absolutely a huge time saver. All right. Scratch says, can't wait for Candace Claus. Yep, yep. Well, you got to wait for Candacemas, and then that's when Candace Claus shows up. So I don't know when Candacemas is, but when it comes, when you see Candacemas on the calendar, you'll know. Prairie, let's see, weather is much better now than the other day. Still see stuck vehicles. Our house survived the week. Now looking forward to the holidays. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, because you guys had it pretty bad. And I think now, actually, I heard the Maritimes got it like the last couple of days, like really wind and a lot of snow. So, oh boy, it's been pretty good here the last couple of days. It's cold again now, but it's not really doing anything. We lost a lot of our snow thanks to the rain, which is, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Rory, try typing something with Scrooge, but got a red error warning. What? Really? I, all right. Well, that's not the Nightbot. I could say that. I have no idea what that is. Um, let's see. Roy says, now it's just cold here, minus 25 degrees, no winds, sunny in Saskatchewan. Okay. Michael Saylor loves to buy the tops. I know. He just buys everywhere. He just buys everywhere. Well, Hipple. A dear Candace Claus, all I want for Christmas is a big green candle. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Bismarcky says Biggie distribution should be dropping tomorrow. Nice. I think you're right. I think you're right too. Let's see. Amrit says, I have been watching Canadian Finance Pro channel. He loves to do his own monthly covered call sells to get some extra percentage of gain in his TFSA. What's your thoughts on this? I don't know. I've never watched it, to be honest. I've never watched Canadian Finance Pro. And he wants to do his own. So is he running his own covered calls? Is he doing options? Because, yeah, I don't do options, but it's an interesting idea. I would need more information. I would need a lot more context to give you my opinion on it, because right now my opinion won't mean anything because I don't really know what's going on with what. Yeah, there we go. With what the Canadian Finance Pro channel is doing. All right. Prairie says, hoping to get an opportunity to invest the last few dollars before Christmas this week. Nice. Nice. I like that. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, hopefully there's something out there. Something out there you got. Something out there you can find. A says, how do you calculate free cash flow for a company like TELUS, Some articles say it covers most of the dividend. Others says it's not sustainable. It is a good idea. Is it a good idea to buy now? Okay, well, I'll show you a couple of things. And this is kind of a neat thing because sometimes there's more than one way to calculate free cash flow. So let's pull this up. We're actually going to head over to simplywall.st. All right, here we go. Simplywall.st. Let's go in. We're interested in TELUS. All right, TELUS. Here we go. Perfect. All right, I'm going to come down to their dividend. All right. And here we go. So these are the two different ways. So this here is where you use your earnings. You're calculating it via your earnings. And in this case, that payout ratio is coming in at 211%. That's high. So, you know, some people will look at that and say, okay, well, what about if we just look at cash flow? So if we just compare it to their cash flow, that would come in at 135%. So that is still unsustainable. Why is it unsustainable? Well, because it's higher than the cash flow. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, one of the things you have to realize with, and let's go to their financial health here. When you look at, I'm going to bring this here in. When you look at a company like TELUS, there's a few other things. Like right now, just cash and cash equivalents. They've got about 1.845 billion. That's a lot. That's a lot. They have what we would call, they have a bit of a moat. They do have a lot of resources. They have a lot of ways to generate cash. They have a lot of things that they can convert into cash. So even though it's unsustainable, it doesn't mean that, you know, it's going to stop. It doesn't mean that they're just going to cut their dividend tomorrow. They could continue this for a long time if they wanted to. They certainly could. Is it the best idea? Of course not. Of course not. Of course, the better idea is if you can get that payout ratio below. But that's one of these things. So when you look at a high payout ratio, yes, it's unsustainable. But look at the company. Look at the moat. Look at what they have. Look at the cash reserves they have. Look and sort of see, can they maintain it if they want to? In the case of TELUS, sure, they absolutely could. I still, if they were to cut the dividend, I wouldn't call it a bad move. I would call it a smart move just because, you know, it never hurts to pull things back within the cash flow. So yeah, no, it's not sustainable, but the chances of them cutting or the chances of them just, you know, of them going out of business or anything like that are pretty much zero. So yeah, I like it that way. Now, like I said, this is a great site if you want to sort of get the look at both. So, you know, because you can calculate it via earnings or via cash flow. So once again, this here is simply wall.st. They will let you look at, I believe it's either 4 or 5. I think it's 5. You can look at 5 stocks a month, and you can get these big deep dives on them. After that, they won't let you because they got a paywall. They want you to subscribe and pay. Now, there's a way around it. There's a way around it. And of course, if they're listening right now, they're probably screaming at YouTube saying, "Don't you dare say it." As long as you got multiple email addresses, use a different browser with a different email address, you can get another 5. So you got 3 different email addresses, you got 15. Simple as that. You can get around it that way. These guys, basically, they track it via your email address or your login information, not by like your MAC address. So this is a good site for that. Good site for that for sure. All right, Claude says, I knew I forgot something, my coffee. No, of course, you just mentioned coffee, so I am obligated to drink some now. I love it. And Chad from Saskatchewan is in the house. Tell us all-time low, but I won't buy it. If you don't hold it already, just buy VDY. And there was 2 cents from Chad. You know, here's the thing. I mean, I look at it this way. Something like well, pretty much Canada's telecom system, they have had it rough. I do think they're going to do better this year, but it's going to be marginally better. Like I think we will see movement to the upside. What we really need to see, and we have begun to see this with both TELUS and Bell, they have both been sort of doubling down on AI data centers. That I think is a fantastic move because, right now the telecom, between the three of them, they pretty much have the entire market. So if you want to grow, you kind of have to move and venture out. Now, Rogers, on the other hand, they've kind of doubled down on sports. And that's not a bad way to go either. So we'll have to see. I personally think the AI data centers could be more profitable than sports, but sports are sports. What can I say? How many times have we gotten into sports conversations here? More times than I can shake a stick at, that's for sure. All right. Hugo Melio says, is it time and safe to buy CDRs for companies like Google, Meta, or Broadcom in the TSX? Is it safe? It's safe. It's absolutely safe. But the question is it good? Now, when you're looking at it long term, you are paying management fees with CDRs. So, and it's basically done by the spread. So you don't even see that there's a fee, but it's the way that they actually spread it. So obviously, like CIBC does a lot of them, also BMO and a few others companies, but CIBC, they're getting paid for it. They're not doing it for free. So that is one of those interesting things. So if you're looking to grow some US companies, so maybe Google, Meta, or Broadcom, if you have a broker that allows you to hold a US account, it is actually more cost effective to buy them that way. Now, with a broker that offers you a US account, you also want to be able to use Norbit's Gambit, so basically journaling between a couple of, basically an ETF. There's a Canadian and a US version, and you can journal. I think is it DLR? I think that's the name of it. That's a good way to get over because the fees for journaling are a lot less than the fees for, conversion. And the beautiful thing about the journaling is that it's just a single flat fee, and your journal can be as big in value as you want to move money over. So it's a great way to do that. So that is the more effective way. Now, with that being said, if you're like, okay, well, I don't have a US account, I don't want to pay the fees, then your next best option, quite literally, is, these are all technology companies. An ETF, like if you went with a straight growth dividend ETF that tracks the NASDAQ, so like HXQ, for example, that would be another easier way, and you'd pay less than what you would pay through CDRs. So now, with that being said, I do like CDRs, but for another reason. I like them because I will use them for swing trading. That's just something I found that they're very useful for me. But when you're looking at long-term trading, you're better off either going with just a passive ETF or just holding those stocks in a US account that you can, of course, use. Now, right now, you can't use Norbit's Gambit on Norbit's Gambit. Sorry, Gamble. Norbit's Gambit. You can't use it on Wealthsimple, but they are adding that functionality in 2026. I don't know the exact date, but from what it sounds like it probably will pop up. It sounds like it's going to happen in January. I can't confirm that 100%, but that's just how it sounds. Anybody who does know, please feel free to add that into the chat. TELUS couldn't happen to be a nicer company. They can kick rocks. Okay. Sure. Zenial says, would you like to see a rally given markets have been disappointing since the peak on October 29th down south? Yeah, I would I'd like to see if we get a great Santa Claus rally up here in Canada, I would love to see the same thing in the States. It'd be nice just to have some sanity for just till the end of the year. Donald, you could do your stuff in January, but leave everybody alone till then. All right. Chad says, I hold Google and Meta CDRs. I hold Google and Meta CDRs treated me good so far. Yeah, they treat you fine. And you are going to, you're going to profit, obviously. You just will profit a tiny, tiny bit less because of the way the spread works. But yeah, if that doesn't bother you, losing a tiny bit to fees, that's fine. But just keep in mind that the money you do lose to fees, if you compound that over time, it becomes less insignificant. That's kind of how I would look at it. Mary says, does Wealthsimple have CDR? Yeah, Wealthsimple, they don't have their own CDR, but they, you can buy CDR. So you can buy and all of the CIBC ones you can get on Wealthsimple for sure. All right. Yes. Oh, there we go. And chat answered you as well. Does anyone in chat use IBRK trading platform? That's a big no from me, but maybe somebody has. Mayor, without the AI capex spending supporting the U.S. GDP, the U.S. is in a recession. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I saw some of the data that if it weren't for the Magnificent Seven, things would be it'd be a different story. It'd be a different story south of the border for sure. All right. Cowboy is in the house with the greetings all. Waiting for funds to transfer, then hopping on some of Canada's swing trades. Together, we will corner the market. There we go. Let's do it. Let's own that market. I love it. Ian, I use AI to do complex calculations. I've never paid for it yet. When it's not free anymore, we will see what happens. That's a funny thing. There's a lot of talk. The problem is with AI now is that even the paid versions, you take OpenAI is not making money. They're losing money on AI. It's kind of like where it's going. And that's kind of what all of the big companies are banking on. They're banking on where things are going, like AI agents and beyond, robotics, all of this stuff that's coming up. That's what they're banking on. So that's also why shareholders sometimes get into a little bit of a tizzy over AI because they can't see where the profits are coming from yet. Now, obviously, the big guys at the steering the ships, they kind of got a general idea of where they're going to get profits down the road. That doesn't always translate, though, into happy investors. And that's one of the reasons we've been seeing, we get these AI jitters. It's like they come up every so often. And I think that's going to continue until there's more of a clear roadmap. Until we get a clear roadmap that the typical investor can look at and say, oh, okay, I see where we're going. Oh, yeah, that's great. Once we do have that clear roadmap, that could very well translate into a little bit of a tech boom. So I'm hoping before 2026 is out, I'm hoping we get that roadmap. That's kind of where I'm thinking. All right, Cowboy says, plowed out again. The adventures of living in Canada. Yep. For some reason, in the back of my mind, when I read that, Rory, I was thinking of Dudley Do-More. I don't know if you guys know who Dudley Do-More is, and I think it's like a mounty character on a horse. Anyway, Chad says, Rory, I got lots of snow. Your end, looking for a good place to go snowmobiling. There we go. Claude, yeah, Big EQ Day and London Gold divs drop tomorrow. Yes, gotta love the London Gold divs, that's for sure. Scratch says, the adventures of surviving Canada. Ooh, that makes me, All right, let's go back. Let's go back to this for a second. I have not yet had a chance to look. London Gold had been dropping double dividends. Like they've been having bonus dividends every, pretty much every quarter. I have not yet looked for this quarter. So whoops, I'll head over here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if they are doing it. Whoops, there was that. All right, that's Yahoo Finance. Here we go. This is where we want to go. LUG. Here we go. London Gold. Bang, boom. Key data. Let's pull this up here and see. No, it's looking like it's just the single. It's just the 70 cents. It's looking like. That's too bad because look back here in September. You got their regular one, so you get your 67 cents, and then they gave a bonus 41 cents. So. It's not looking like we're getting a bonus one. Christmas would be the time you'd want a bonus one. Come on, London Gold. Help us out. Help us out. Give us more money. That's what I say. All right. Scratch. The Adventures of Surviving in Canada. Cowboy, maybe Candace Claus can bring me electric socks. Does anybody wear electric? I would be like, I don't know if I would want electric socks, but... I've got an electric blanket for when I'm watching TV downstairs because it gets chilly here. It gets chilly. So I got my electric blanket. I am liking it. All right. Al is saying hurricane winds here in Nova Scotia over the weekend. 182,000 homes without power. You might want to avoid Emera stock. Oh, boy. Yeah, I saw something on the Weather Network. They were showing somebody's house, and the shingles were almost coming off the house from the wind. I was just like, oh boy. I haven't heard anything. My mom hasn't complained anything about it yet, but yeah, definitely that's a lot of cold and wind. Chad says, Rory says, Chad, just pick any open area in Saskatchewan. He does level 2 options. He was on Gary Gill's channel as well. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't do options. It's outside of my risk profile. If I want exposure to options, of course, I can do it via covered calls. I don't have to do it myself. And I like that. I do like that. Rory, who's going to make me coffee? Can't get off my lazy boy. There you go. I hear you. Well, Rory, I don't know if you've got a wife or anyone there that can do it for you, but maybe. Chad says, I live in an open area, no snow here, all blew away to Manitoba. Oh boy, poor the prairies. What can I say? Well, that's the thing about the prairies. There's nothing to stop the wind, and that snow. It can, you can still have a blizzard without it even snowing, practically, with the snow blowing. Let's see, Mayor says, does payout ratio above 100% necessarily means the dividend is unsustainable? Well, yeah, of course it does. It means that it's unsustainable via their cash flow. It doesn't mean, I want to be careful with these words. It doesn't mean that the company will automatically suspend that dividend. But what it does mean is that the company is paying for it in another way. So when you have it above 100%, they have to pay for it from another way. That's why when you look at the bigger picture, you want to look at things like, okay, well, cash and cash equivalents, what do they have? Do they have deep pockets so that way that it's not an issue? And if that answer is yes, then I don't worry about it as much. Now, if they're a small company and they don't have a big moat and they're well above 100%, then I get a little bit more concerned. Also depending on how much over 100%, if somebody has a payout ratio of 101%, that's not as bad as if their payout ratio were up at 200%. So you have to pull in a whole bunch of factors, and it really boils down to, can they pay? Yes or no. That's kind of how I look at it. So keep in mind, and we were talking earlier about TELUS. They've got a lot. They've got very deep pockets. I'm not concerned about where their thing is. Is it healthy for the company? I don't think it is. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to that they're going to cut the dividend. It doesn't necessarily mean that they can't get that fixed. And also keep in mind too, when you look at something like what we were just looking at, that is the number from their last quarterly report. And I don't know exactly when that was. I think it was at least a month ago. That may already have changed. We don't know. That's the thing. You know, if they've been doing significantly better since that report, and well, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can figure this out. All right, we will pull up TELUS. All right, so let's take a look here. Bang, boom. Let's see, Q4 earnings. So their next earnings report right here will be February. All right, so there we go. So we know that 3 months before February, so that would have been what, November? Yeah, so we know that their last report was probably around the beginning of November. All right, so let's pull up, we'll pull up 3 months. All right. Oh, well, I'm not seeing any hope here. It's been all downhill. So chances are that report has not gotten, that number has not improved any. If this were flipped and they were moving up like this and they've been making more money, then yeah, that number probably would have been a little bit lower. But we can probably assume it's a little bit worse right now than it was back when that report came out. But that's always one of those things. So I'll give you one example here. If I was trying to make a decision on TELUS and I was getting really close, so let's say it was February 1st. If today were February 1st and I was getting ready to make any kind of decision based on fundamentals of TELUS, I would look and see when that next report is. And I'd be like, you know what? If this decision can wait till the 13th, at least I'll have fresh data. So sometimes you might want to wait in a situation like that. But right now we're kind of in the middle. We're kind of in the middle between the two reports. And looking at the fact that they've still been moving down, it's probably gotten a little worse. You know, that number is probably a little bit higher. So I look at it that way. All right. Let's see. Cowboy says Buy Power is one of those things people will figure out a way to pay. Bleak says, hey all, welcome Bleak. Wahipple, I just looked up the payment date for Biggie and it tomorrow, so depending on your trading platform, might see it on Tuesday. Mine, I should have it Tuesday, but Wednesday for sure. Yeah, typically, yeah, I think most brokers tend to pay you a day after, because on the day that it's paid out, it's paid to the broker. And then the broker generally, depending on the broker, will usually have that to you by the next day. There might be some brokers out there that take a little bit longer, and I've heard stories. So, Chad says Rory and the laws changed. Need written permission to drive in farmers' land unless I want to ditch bang it. I don't even know what a ditch bang it is. It sounds naughty, but it's probably not. Anyway, Scott says, I was looking at that Simply Wall Street site. Those stock analysis diagrams they use are interesting. Yeah, they've got a lot of interesting stuff there. And the neat thing about that site is, oh, I am still small. All right, let's pull it back up. So when you look at, you know what, let's go here. Let's go to future growth and actually valuation. I want to go into valuation. So look, here is their, this is their fair value. So when they're doing their fair value calculations, they use a cash flow model. Now you can, in this case here, now let me see where it is, right here, data. So if you pull on the data, it will actually give you all of the data that they use. So you can really go in and really break it down. And I like that. I like that they give you every piece of data that they're using. So, you know, if you look at something, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem right. You can go in and look at the data and then even run the numbers yourself. So that's one of the things I do like about Simply Wall, or Simply ST, or Simply Wall.st. Chad says Wire Fence's got to watch too, especially if you have a few drinks. Yeah, you don't want to snowmobile into a wire fence, that's for sure. Now, let me ask a question, Rory. Isn't it? I'm assuming it's illegal, but maybe I'm off. Maybe I don't know. But isn't it illegal to be drinking and snowmobiling at the same time? Wouldn't that fall under like the same laws as drinking and driving? And I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I honestly don't know. Chad says, just a bag holder for Telus and Bell. Can't wait to sell them. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Ian says, I own Telus through Utes. I think the telecoms are holding back Utes. Um, yeah, that is one way to get access to them as well, because Utes does hold the telecoms as well. But also keep in mind, Utes has never really been designed for growth. It's purely been designed for income, and it does do that. It does do exactly what it's designed for. But yeah, if the telecom companies were doing better, I think we would probably get some growth in Utes as well, a little bit for sure. Um, JE says Blizzard is just minor inconvenience, but losing power for hours or possible days in San Francisco. That would really suck heading to the holidays. Yeah, so I read that about half of San Francisco was in the dark. Now, I do not know if they got power back yet or not, but hopefully, on the bright side, the only bright side, I guess, for San Francisco is that at least they don't have Canada cold there. It's it's pretty mild. It's pretty mild on that side of the U.S., but still, yeah, it is not fun for sure. Chat. Don't drink when on machines. It's still impaired, and I drive like an old lady. She never pinned. Okay, I don't know what that means either. You guys are using the lingo. You're using the lingo. Scott says, what do you think about SpaceX IPO? Jump on it early, wait a bit, or ignore it and buy SpaceX adjacent stocks? Um, I I've been kind of excited about SpaceX for a long time. I mean, I like what they're doing. Um, and this is an interesting one. Like, yeah, normally IPOs, I don't like to jump on them right away. But at the same time, this is a tough one. You know what I probably will do with SpaceX? Um, I'll probably buy a little bit initially, wait to see what happens, and sort of like dollar cost average. Because I know that there will be interest right away. We'll probably get a bit of a spike. So I might wait for for the initial spike and then see if it retracts a little bit. Hard to say. It's really hard to say. Once we get closer, like I don't even think we have a date yet for the IPO other than 2026. I'll readjust, and we'll talk more about this once we know what's happening. Because it'll be an interesting one to play. I think dollar cost averaging is probably going to be the way I'll go with it, though. All right, let's see. Before the 3-year mark is when CDRs make sense due to the embedded management fees. Yeah, there we go. All right. Jonathan says, Anthropic installed an AI-controlled vending machine at the Wall Street Journal office. The employees convinced it the communist revolution had begun and it gave away products for free. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's one of the things with AI. AI is gullible, guys. It is pretty gullible. So as once AI actually starts to be able to think for itself a little bit, then I think it'll be better. But yeah, right now, see, here's the thing with AI is you can, and I was watching this video. A guy was trying to get AI to and it was AI controlling a robot. It was trying to get the robot to do harm to him, and he managed to get the robot to do harm to him by basically telling the robot, "Oh, it's just a game. You can do it. It's okay." And the robot then shot him. It was with a pellet gun, but I just was like, wow, no hesitation. It was just like, oh, it's a game? All right, bang. It's like, wow. But yeah, AI is very gullible. Like, even though there's safeguards, if you're crafty enough, you can work your way around those safeguards really, really easily. Um, and that once AI basically has, like right now, AI, it's just a model, right? It just goes and it looks for the most likely answer to whatever question you're having by the fact that it has read everything on the internet. Well, not everything, but a lot of things, whatever it's been trained on. Once it gets to a point that it can actually reason better, um, then we'll start to see those loopholes start to close up. Right now, they're there. They're there, and free snacks for the Wall Street Journal folks. So what can you say? Hugo Milo says, thank you very much. I was thinking just going with QQC instead of those CDRs. Yeah, QQC, another good one for sure. Scratch says, I work with someone who bought RKLB at $3. He loves the fact that SpaceX comes into the market. Yeah. So what RKLB, is that Rocket Labs? I think so. I think so. Tony Daffin says, happy afternoon to all. Do you think Bank and eBank from Evolve will continue the ride? I'm pretty bullish on the banking system for the next year. So, short answer, yes. Will it be the same as last year? Of course not. Will it be stronger or will it be weaker? Don't know yet. Don't know yet. But I do think that I think they will both have positive returns for 2026 for sure. And keep in mind, that's not even counting the income. So I think they'll have some pretty good years for sure. Let's see. Trump Oil has its IPO tomorrow. Oh gosh, another Trump product, just what we need. Oh, I was mentioning earlier about Venezuela. Venezuela. So it's one of the interesting things about Venezuela. I was watching a video about this. Was it yesterday or this morning? It was either yesterday or early this morning. But I was watching a video. One of the interesting things about about Venezuelan oil is they have heavy crude. It's pretty much the same type of oil as what we have right now in Alberta in the oil sands. So when the U.S. basically decides to tariff Canadian oil and make it a little bit more difficult, well, the thing is, most of the oil refineries in the U.S., not all, but most of them are geared to heavy crude. So they need a good supply of heavy crude. So there's no coincidence that the Trump administration is coming up with any excuse to gain control of Venezuelan oil. That's kind of what this whole game is about. And the whole gist of this video is that if Trump is successful, if he's successful and manages to gain control of Venezuelan oil, that's not a good thing for Canada. At that point, Canada would be basically, how fast can we get a pipeline to the Pacific? Because it would be very critical at that point, because then the U.S. wouldn't even need, then it would be true. What Donald Trump has been saying, we don't need Canadian oil, would be absolutely true. But with all of that, one of the things I was thinking about when I was watching this video is, you know what? What if this has been a plan for a while? That the whole Venezuela thing, that they've been building up to it and they've been planning it for a very long time. And that would actually make sense, because that would explain why Donald Trump would say, we don't need Canadian oil, because they've already got their eyes on Venezuela. So it's just kind of a little interesting thought, I guess, experiment that I went down. And I'm like, that could be what's going on here. That would be very interesting. It definitely wouldn't be a good thing for us. So I guess the conclusion I have right now is that we need that pipeline more than ever. We need that pipeline more than ever. You know, I think it's important. I think it's important, but we'll have to see how that develops. Of course, we do have that letter of understanding there between the federal government and the Alberta provincial government. We'll see where that goes. All right. Ian says, AI can be so stupid sometimes. It's like asking a child a question and they try to guess the answer. Meta AI on Facebook is hilarious and useless. Well, one of the things I find, and maybe this is just me when it comes to AI, is that I'll ask a question, I'll get the answer I want, and then AI is just like, "Oh, can I please put it in a chart for you, or can I produce it into something you can use on your show?" Or I'm like, "No, no, 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 I don't. I just wanted to know the answer to a simple question." So sometimes I find AI, it's like it tries way too hard. Cowboy, Dudley Do Right, showing your age. Um, well, maybe a little bit, yeah. Because yeah, I think that was a cartoon from like I think that cartoon was even old when I was a kid. I think it was a pretty old one. Um, he always gets his man. All right. Now, was he the one that used to ride on the horse backwards? Is that the Dudley Do Right? Is that the one? I'm not sure, but I remember there used to be a Mountie who was kind of a bit of an idiot. would be riding his horse backwards. All right, let's see. But not anymore because of catch and release. Oh dear. Scott says having an electric blanket means all other blankets are acoustic blankets. Ooh, that's kind of nifty. I like that. The last Mountie did that. Which accounts are okay to hold CSRs, TFSA, RRSP, or you mean CDRs? I think, David, right? CDRs. So yeah, for a CDR, I think that you can hold them in any account because here's the thing: most of them, don't have very big dividends because they're mostly investing in companies like a lot of the tech companies. So very small dividends. Now, those dividends are not withholding tax. There's no withholding tax because you're not investing directly in a U.S. company. You're investing in a financial instrument of a Canadian company. So those dividends are fine. You're not getting withholding tax. It's not even an issue. So yeah, you could hold them in your TFSA, no problem. You could hold them in your RRSP if you want, or any of your non-registered accounts would be fine. Now keep in mind, anything you hold in your RRSP does become 100% taxable. So that's always a concern. Let's see here. Airdrie, Calgary, the whiteout zone, over 180 car pileup last week. Yikes, that's a lot. That is a lot. All right, let's see. I saw that. Zero visibility around Calgary and blowing snow. Let's see, of course it was that way in Saskatchewan too, just miserable. And Paul is in the house with a good afternoon. All right, Janet Lynn says, what do you think of CCL? So Carnival Cruise. They are going to start paying dividends again next year. Well, let's pull them up. Let's see here. All right, CCL. All right, I guess I need to head over here. All right, let's go to CCL. All right, Carnival Cruise. Here we go. There we go. All right, so currently they're sitting at what, 31.11. Oh, that's a nice jump. They just had a recent jump. That is pretty darn cool. All right, let's see here. And so right now they're currently not paying dividends. So you're thinking they're starting to pay dividends again next year. That would be interesting. I'm kind of curious. Let's take a look here and see what's going on. All right, I will say one thing. So during the pandemic, a lot of the cruise ships, they got hit really hard. People did not want to be going on cruise ships. I mean, if you guys remember, there was one cruise ship that kind of got stuck out for a while. They weren't allowed to come into port because of COVID. They have been slowly recovering, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. And we're seeing here, just in this chart, now I'll go back to I'm going to go to the 3 here. You can see this clearly that they are starting to do a lot better. So yeah, I could see why they might be on the verge of bringing dividend back. And let me just take a gander here. I'm going to go into their back end. All right, and let's see here. So, okay, yeah, so they suspended them back here in, well, at the pandemic. It's right there. The last one was March 13th, 2020. Yikes. All right, but looking here, oh, that's not bad. Look at that. They've got a really high return on equity. Now, before we get excited about that, because you guys know I love a high return on equity, they've also got a lot of debt. So their debt to equity ratio, 234%. That's really high, and that's skewing that number up. So it's not really 108%. It's this number is being impacted. So whenever you get a really high return on equity, look at their debt to equity. And if it's high, it's probably because that's probably what's happening. It's probably getting skewed up. So, oh, you know, looking at this, maybe they're ready to bring back their dividend, but they're still financially, I think they still got a little ways to go. So we'll have to see. I don't think if they are bringing it back, I hope it's later in the year, not right away, because you know I think they still have a little bit of room to go, at least to try to ring in some of that debt, try to get some of their numbers better. But they are improving, and that's a good thing. And keep in mind as well, that's not telling me. I was going to say I don't know when their last. Let's see here, balcony 30%. I was just trying to see if I could eyeball when their earnings report was. So I don't know when their last earnings was, but so yeah, are they going to be good? That's a good question. I still think they have a little ways to go. I think they're moving in the right direction though, and that's not a bad thing. All right, where the heck is I lost my mouse. That's never fun. Oh no, I didn't lose my mouse. I lost my, all right, I'm just gonna, oops. Yeah, I lost my mouse. My mouse has stopped moving. My mouse has stopped moving. Just give me a second here. I am just going to, all right, we'll see if that has fixed it. There we go, that fixed it. I don't know what it is, but if my mouse ever stops, I just take out the battery, put it back in, and nope, it died again. So this battery has just died on me, so I've just lost my mouse. All right, there is another battery over here. I think it's good. I think it's good. We'll pull it out. We'll drop it on in. All right. And let's see if I get mouse movement. I do not. I do not. All right, I need a battery. I need a double A battery ASAP because, okay. All right, Jill has gone off to get a battery. I'm going to try this other mouse and see if it is working. It may not be charged. All right, so I've lost control of the mouse for the moment, but she's gone to get a battery. We'll have a battery here in a second. Probably the worst time to lose control of my mouse. And oh, wait a minute. I wonder. I've got the laptop here, guys. And because, let's go big screen. Because the laptop is a Mac as well, I can use the touch screen on the laptop to move the mouse on the computer. So I'm like, okay, I'm not dead in the water. Obviously, the mouse is better, but we'll go from here. All right, Paul says you see more shares. Oh, just a second. And don't forget about that. All right, just give me a second. Did you see my? Yes, I saw your sign. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, give me a moment here. I'll just put in the new battery. There we go. You gotta love technical stuff. There we go. All right, just give me one more second. Come on, guys. All right. Well, it doesn't look like it still doesn't want to work. I don't know what's going on with that mouse. That's fine. I've got my touch screen. All right. So Paul says you see more shares of DRIP on night of payday, but the details no till next day at Quest Trade. Okay, interesting. 8 degrees at work, Ian says, I like to see growth in my cover call ETFs. Gives me faith the distribution is sustainable. Yes. So I have a rule, and you guys have heard my rule before. If I've got a cover call ETF providing me some income, and it's a bull market, I need to see, it doesn't matter how much growth, but I need to see at least a little bit of growth. Even if it's 1%, as long as I'm seeing growth. But if I have an ETF that's losing ground in a bull market, that's just not an ETF I want. Now, mind you, I'm not a pure income investor. I'm what you would call a growth income investor. So that's that hybrid spot. So I do need to see at least a little bit of growth for sure. All right. Prairie says, in my opinion, the main reason T has dropped is investors' reaction to the freeze on raising the dividend announced during the last earnings. Yes, that's also not a great thing. Some people will look at that, even though it's a freeze on raising, some people may look at it and say, uh-oh, that means trouble. And yeah, it can mean trouble depending on the company. But like I said, in the case of TELUS, I think we're fine. They've got the pockets. And, it's not like that cash flow is going to dry up. I mean, Canadians need phones. And Canadians have demonstrated for a very long time that we will pay crazy amounts for our phones. Unfortunately, it's not like we have an option. We don't really have much of an option. Cowboy, let's see, been grabbing TELUS while it's low, same as NPI. Can't see them failing. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about the blue chips is that, when they're low, if you buy them, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. They will recover. What do you think about MDLN? IPO'd last month. I don't have a lot of opinion on them. Let me take a look here. Give me a second here. Let's see here. MDLN. All right, here we go. So Midland Exploration. No, that's not them. Medline. All right, down here. All right. Nope, see. It's the... All right, here we go. All right, let's pull these guys up here. So Medline. Interesting. I haven't looked at this company, to be honest with you. I'm coming into this completely blind. But yeah, we can see, here's their IPO right here. They've done well. They have done well since they IPO'd. So that's not too shabby. 41.6. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see here. And well, honestly, I'm not going to have any back-end data on them yet. So, and let's see here. Are they like I'm assuming from their name, makes me think they're like remote medical or something like that. No, okay, medical surgical products. Supply chain solutions serving all points of care based on total net sales of medical surgery. All right. Yeah, it's a solid field. They're probably going to be interesting. I haven't really looked. I haven't done a lot of research on them or anything, but yeah, they could be interesting for sure. All right. Let's see. EIT is a target for buying more shares. X day tomorrow. Yeah. Well, Canoe is just reliable. Canoe has been reliable for a long time, for sure. All right. Rusty Pot Brewer, buying Google because of their investment in SpaceX instead of buying the IPO. All right. A Christmas present might be to give some free memberships. Oh, some people are asking too much. Some people ask too much. Hey, Candace Claus will be crawling down those chimneys. That's where we're going. All right. Mary likes that idea. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. All right. You're never going to get a pipeline as long as there is liberals. Well, I'll disagree. I'll disagree. I'm hoping to see it. I mean, if it's in the best interest of the country, hopefully we'll see it. Rory says, should I increase my ETFs that hold ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Chevron? I have a small holding right now. All right. Prairie says, I find the first few responses from AI is on topic. The more you prompt it, the further it goes on tangents. Yeah, it can definitely go on tangents for sure. For sure. All right. Well, I think, and a lot of times AI, I think AI just doesn't understand sometimes that all you want is a simple answer, and it wants to just continually go. It almost wants to write a thesis on your answer. So it's not always the best thing. Cowboy, let's see. My old boss bought 1,000 shares of CCL at $8 a share in 2020. Oh, that is so good. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Scratch. I knew someone who liked cruises and did the same in 2020. He now have better prices on cruise because he is a shareholder. Oh, really? Well, that's interesting. That is interesting for sure. I did not realize. You see, and I like that. Like I'll if I can get a discount on your products, I want to be a shareholder. I'm just saying. Um, let's see. Roy says I remember buying RBC at $79. That was a nice trade. And let's see here. Tony says, what is the special non-cash EIT distribution and how does it work? Okay. So the non-cash EIT distribution, what they're doing is basically if you hold EIT in your TFSA, it does nothing for you. Nothing for you at all. But what it will do is if you're holding it outside, like in your non-registered, this one is supposed to increase your, so let's say that, for example, they said, I don't know, let's say, I don't know how much, we won't even worry about the amount. But what it should do is it should actually take your adjusted cost base and rise it up a little bit. So if you sold them down the road, you would have a smaller capital gain bill as a result. However, with that being said, nothing comes for free. So a lot of times, and when you check your taxes, you may find that that distribution will show up as a taxable event, even though you technically aren't getting it. So I don't like it, to be honest. I'd rather just give me the dividends. Give me the extra dividends. I'll deal with the taxes per se, but that's just the way I look at it. All right. Cowboy says thanks, Jill. All right, let's see here. Scratch says you have 50 cents an ounce discount on First Mint when you hold 100 shares of First Majestic. Oh, nice. I like that. All right. Scott says, speaking of phones, the memory shortage due to AI demand will be hitting phone prices soon. So if you're thinking of getting a new phone, that is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you guys remember back when Bitcoin miners was all the rage, it was very hard to get at that time. It was very hard to get video cards because they're being used for Bitcoin miners. So it created a shortage. We're kind of doing the same thing with the AI data centers. They're using up a lot of chips. So, a lot of these chips that will be used in things like phones, computers, are going to become a little more rare. So that could create some shortages. So that is something to keep in mind. All right. Chuck says, any royalty company that is a bit more diversified. I'm looking at FRU versus LIF, but they're both sector focused. Yeah, so, and I like both of them. Like FRU, of course, oil and gas industry. LIF, iron ore, of course. But yeah, diversification in a royalty company. Most of the ones I can think of are pretty not diversified, but they're pretty much, well, they're pretty much sector specific. Although DIV is diversified royalty, it's in the name. But once again, I think they're mostly consumer discretionary. Like they have a lot of things like Mr. Lube, Jack Astor's, Cheba Hut in the US. So, I still would say that they're not that diversified. So I don't know of any off of the top of my head, Chuck. If anybody knows of a royalty company that is more diversified, please share. Because I'm trying to think of all the ones I can think of, and they're all pretty diversified. Whoops. All right. Any official number on how much the TFSA top-up will be in January? Yes, $7,000. So $7,000 again this year. Does Canoe have a drip available? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you can drip it in something like in something like Wealthsimple, but that's just them rebuying the dividends. As far as I know, I don't think they have any kind of where you can get a bit of a discount. So some drips, for example, and I don't even know of any brokers that are doing this, but with some drips, especially I think in the US, you can get where you'll actually get a discount if you drip back into them. Morley says, went to Costco this morning. The mob of people shopping makes me want to get more shares for my stocking tomorrow. Yeah. Cowboy is saying div because, well, yeah, diversified is in the name. Scratch, dig into it, but it looks like Samson went to Mexico for silver supply for their new battery. Time to rotate, in my humble opinion. Let's see, silver like gold, late to the party. I mean, I still think there's room for both of them to grow this year, but it could be interesting. I think it definitely could be interesting for sure. I think growth-wise, yeah, we'll get some growth. I just don't think we're going to get the same amount of growth that we got last year. And I know there's some people out there that are really bullish on silver. Me, I'm bullish on copper. One of the things with copper is, well, we're looking at a copper shortage by about 2030. That's funny enough, guys. As we've learned, this year went by fast. So 2030 is around the corner. Just something to keep in mind. All right. Let's see. Edmonton Gort says, I have been dripping EIT.UN for a decade now. Right, but Gord, let me ask you this question. You're not getting a discount, are you, to drip it? I haven't heard of that with EIT, but I also haven't really been doing any kind of dripping. Cowboy, let's see. Biggie or Q Day for the TFSA top up? Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It really boils down to, I mean, Biggie, you get more diversification in it than you would have in Q-Day. Q-Day, of course, well, that's more technology-based. So I would ask this question. If you're very bullish on technology, Q-Day might fit the bill. But if you're looking for a little bit more diversification, then Biggie may very well be the option. For me, that's how I would boil it down to. And that would also, of course, I would look at my other holdings. If I already have a lot of tech, then I might say, you know what, maybe Biggie makes more sense. Or if I don't have enough tech, then Q-Day in that case. I know I'm not giving you an answer, but I'm giving you the tools to make an answer, to come up with an answer, hopefully. All right. Let's see here. I'm still messing with my mouse at the same time, guys, if I seem a little bit distracted. All right. Asaj says, QQQ. All right, is Northland Power a blue chip stock? Is it a good time to buy since the 30% fall or further to fall? Well, Northland Power. So one of the things that I like about them is, one, they are a utility company. So they have a lot of what they offer is regulated. They've got contracts with governments to provide utilities, to provide power. That is a certain level of stability when it comes to their cash flow. So you know, that is a good thing for them. Now, when it comes to blue chipness, well, let's just take a gander here. I'm going to pull them. Oops, don't do that. All right, there we go. Using the mouse thing, the mouse. I hate my mouse, my pad. Um, I hate mouse pads with a passion. I'm just putting that down there because it's like ah. All right, NPI. There we go. All right, come on. Where is my mouse? Where's my mouse again? There we go. All right, there we go. Let's pull it up. Perfect. All right, so here's one of the nice things right away is the fact that it's on the TSX. They do have a minimum. Oh gosh, it didn't come up, did it? NPI. Here we go. Let's try this again. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my mouse keeps on defaulting back. All right, there we go. Oh, seriously? This is annoying me, guys. This is annoying me. All right, let's try this one more time. NPI, come on. All right, this time it worked. All right, I don't know what happened the last couple of times. I'm gonna blame it on the mouse pad. I am gonna blame it on the mouse pad. All right, let's bring. Oh, come on. Eek, there we go. Hello, come on, mouse pad. All right, eek. Oh my gosh, guys, this is just not working. All right. So, all right, here we go. Let's look at their market cap. So their market cap, it's big. It's not huge. 4.5 billion. So that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I would like to see it being a little bit bigger before I would really call them blue chip. I would call them I think they've got potential. They have potential to be blue chip. They're not there yet. They're not there yet. But they are in a very stable. They're in a very stable sector. I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll be fine. So I think, and I know I think I know Cowboy has talked about it a few times. I think they're in a good spot. I think they're in a good spot to add to them for sure. I wouldn't be concerned. I really wouldn't be concerned with them. All right. I'm just going to try this one more time, see if this works. Oh, I got my mouse back. I just unplugged it for a little bit, unplugged the battery, and then put it back in. All right, mouse is back. This is good. All right. No, EIT drip discount that I know of. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you can drip anything. Like you can manually drip things. Wealthsimple will drip things. And Wealthsimple, it's nice because they have fractional investing. They'll buy a fraction if your dividend is not enough to buy a whole unit. So that's kind of fine. That is neat. But I know in the U.S. there are different management companies that will give you like a slight discount on their stock if you're dripping it back in. I don't know of anybody that does that in Canada though. That's kind of what I was getting at. All right. NBI is worldwide in alternative power, wind, solar. Yeah, let's see. No silver, no solar. Chad says solar is a joke. USA just should down their 2 billion project. All right. Michael says, I love your shows. Hey, that the copper deficit has been moved up to 2026 from prior 2030 forecast. Has it? It wouldn't surprise me. That makes me even more bullish. That would make me even more bullish, Michael. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Solar your house. Take more than 10 years from it to pay for itself, plus any damage to them is hail. Well, it depends on where you live. Yeah, if you got, I mean, let's go back here. If you live in Calgary, so Calgary, they're in what's called Hailstone Alley. So if you've ever lived in Calgary, sometimes in the summer, they can have hailstorms that are so severe that it's almost like you might as well be in a blizzard. And you're shoveling the hail afterwards. But the problem is, hail hurts a lot more than snow does. And you can usually, sometimes you can get cars at a deal because they've been damaged by hail, like hail damage sales. So, yeah, it's crazy in that part of that little area there. Let's see. In my opinion, ways to pay it could include Ivan could include in IVN, so Ivanhoe Mines, and Capstone Silver. Yeah, so that's one of the other big things. And Ivanhoe had a pretty good day on Friday, guys. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Let's take a look. IVN. All right, here we go. And they were up, let's see here, what were they up? 5.977%. I'll just pull up the 1 month. So this is their nice little bump here. They're not back up to, when they were up at 1562, but they did have a pretty good move on Friday. Let's see, the div is going to 0.06 down from 0.10 on NPI. Okay, that's not a bad thing though. Sometimes that's a good way just to sort of help free up some money. Kind of the similar thing happened with Algonquin Power. So AQN, and AQN was a dumpster fire for a long time, but they've actually been making a bit of a comeback lately. So actually, take a look. Let's pull up AQN, and I can't believe I'm saying that. They've been doing better. Now, mind you, Friday, not so much. They were down a little bit on Friday. But when we take a look here, this is the last year. They're actually trending up. They've made a lot of moves. So they sold off some of their assets just to get the debt under control. So that's a good move for Algonquin. Not to say I'm ready to jump back in, but they are looking better. They're looking a lot better. I can't call them a dumpster fire anymore. Let's see, the touchpad on laptops is still far superior to when we used to have the little red nipple in the middle of the keyboard for using the mouse. Okay, I've seen keyboards that have that, and I never realized that was for the mouse. That's kind of funny. I never knew that. YNVT from Purpose did really well this year. All right, so yeah, let's take a look. Let's pull it up. YNVD. So this is their NVIDIA yield shares. Let's see, right here. All right, and let's take a look at their 1 year. So yeah, their 1 year, well, they're up a little bit. I mean, really, because I mean, they came into the year at 41.81. They're sitting at 43.74. That, to me, that's still good though, right? You guys know my rule. If you want to give me a high yield, and this one, it's not showing it here. It's actually not giving me the yield. Sometimes they're like that, but just to give you a general idea, we'll just go into the key data for a second. So you're getting 75 cents a month on this one, 75 cents. That's pretty darn good. It's a pretty high yield, guys. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Maybe you guys might know. But yeah, so this is your NVIDIA one. So yeah, while technology one, and NVIDIA. Now, mind you, if NVIDIA is exploding, this one does have capped upside potential, but you're normally here for the income anyway. So for me, it's like, if I got my income coming in, I'm happy, and if it's going up, I'm happy. So yeah, this is a good one. NVIDIA did good this year. Now, keep in mind, let's just show you NVDA. I'm going to show you NVIDIA as well. All right, there we go, right down here. Now with NVIDIA, it's a different story, right? They went up a lot more. So you can see NVIDIA, they rose from about 140 to 180. So they did a little better. They did a little better, but once again, that's that capped upside potential that I was talking about. Now, if you with YVIDIA or YNVD, if you reinvested those dividends into it, you can make up a good amount of that. You can make up a good amount of that. You're not going to catch them, but you can get a lot closer for sure. MCAN offers a 2% drip discount. Okay, interesting. What is MCAN? Let's take a look. MCAN, here we go. Oh, Manulife Canadian Equity Class. All right, that's interesting. That is interesting. So obviously a variation of Manulife, but that's cool. It's not really giving me much data here. Can I go to 1 year? There we go. Oh, look at this. This is a nice, this is a nice move to the upside for sure. Yeah, all right, good. That is kind of cool. I like that idea. What kind of a dividend, though, do they have? Is it going to show me here? No, it's not going to show me. But let me see. If I go into the key data, no, I'm not even seeing anything in the key data, so I don't know what kind of dividend MCAN has, but I do like it. Red Dare to Drumheller is bad for hail. Yeah, that's all part of Hailstone Alley. Deller reminds me of Mars. I let Wealthsimple drip my RRSP investments, but prefer controlling where I invest my divs and my TFSA. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Solar panels on roof is a disaster in waiting, plus insurance costs go way up. Scratch says IVN is the best grades in the whole industry. Buy and hold. And let's see. JP Morgan, refined copper deficit in 2026. Okay, so this is from JP Morgan Global Research Projects. So a global refined copper deficit of 330,000 metric tons in 2026, with prices rising sharply due to tightening supply. So guys, according to JP Morgan, it's happening sooner than expected. It's not surprising. It is not surprising. Copper is used in everything, everything. Cowboy says, still not ready to roast a marshmallow in the AQN fire. Fair enough. Fair enough. Waste of marshmallows. We are definitely in a resource bull market. The sooner you get in, the better. Yeah, resources have been really, really strong. And I do not see that changing in 2026. If anything, it's going to be, I think it's going to continue. Now, I will say, though, keep in mind, when you're looking at something like gold, for example, the massive explosion we saw in gold last year, I don't think it's going to be as big, but I still think it's going to be to the upside. So, all right. Koi Copper's Copper Corp. What a name. That would be one that would be very easy to confuse when you're trying to say it, that's for sure. All right. No Saskatchewan going small nuke reactors. Let's see here. And West Oak mined and benefit ships coal to the USA and China. All right. And guys, I'm going to start just skipping over. When you guys are talking to each other, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to just skip over those. West Coal Mine, Saskatchewan Power, say otherwise, and Boundary Dam is biting loss. Okay, there we go. There we go. I think it's time for a coffee. We are getting, we're not there yet, but guys, if you got your last minute questions, get them on in, and we'll see if we can get them, see if we can get to them. Let's see. Mo wants to exhaust coal supplies, burning less coal, and get retrofitted as work these industrial sites. And you guys were talking about clean coal. I have not yet had a chance to really look into clean coal, because I find that whole concept as being very interesting for sure. So that's something I do want to look at a bit more into. But, what can I say? Whew. So I'm starting to think about the prediction videos, because as you guys know, I love making prediction videos. So I will, of course, have my big prediction video, my big 10 ones. That'll come out early January, like in the first week. And we're also going to look at the ones from last year, and we'll take a look at them. I'll do that on a live, because we'll rank it together. What can I say? It's cool. Let's see here. Wonder what Cover Calls Kyle Livenstone is going to destroy next. And build and maintain these carbon scrubbers. Good old carbon scrubbers. Carbon capture is actually quite an interesting technology for sure. Let's see. Boundary was expanding according to what was said in that interview. Let's see. What is your favorite gold name for 2026 performance? EQX, perhaps. 2025, my favorite gold exposure, or my favorite gold company was London Gold. So that was my 2025 pick when it comes to gold. Now, I'm not sure yet. I have to sort of think. I'm probably going to lean more towards an ETF. I think I might lean towards an ETF for 2026 because I think the big moves are over, and I think now diversification within that sector would probably make a little more sense. So and I haven't really had a chance to sort of think which one is on my list. Now, mind you, in the 0 to 100K challenge, I'm not going to sell London Gold and just jump it all into an ETF right away. But if it looks like we're coming to the end of the bull run when it comes to commodities, I might take something off the table from London Gold, to lock in some profits. But right now, no, right now it's London Gold's going to ride for a bit. they've got a whole field still in front of them. But I would like to, and I don't know if I want a gold ETF or if I want to look at something more diversified within the commodity index. So, like iShares has a good materials one. That was actually the materials one is an ETF that I had predicted would do well this year. And they have done very well. So, that might be one. That might be one I might bring in. But I kind of feel like I keep pulling in these iShares ETFs. So, because I've got XUT, XST, XEG. So, I'll have to think about it a bit more. I have to think about it a bit more. Michael says, do you think London Gold will shift out of only Ecuador and into other countries' mines? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but obviously, if they did, that would please me because I do like, even when it comes to, because a lot of times, and that's one of the downsides to a mining company. If a mining company is in one country, all it takes is for that country to become a little more hostile to the mining company, and we've seen that before. So yeah, it could be interesting. Like, I'm also pretty bullish on Barrick mining as well. So, there's a lot. I think there's a lot going on. Let's see. For me, it's AUGO, but I got in at 985 Canadian when it was still in the TSX. All right, Rory, when does XEQT pay next? TMX has no info, or does it come out later? Good question. Good question. XEQT, one of the things that you can do is, it may not have been announced yet. That might be why. So when we go, for example, here's XEQT. One of the things that you can do is you can go to the news and see if there's anything in here. BlackRock changes. Let's see. Oh, I never liked that. Open the market. So yeah, right now there's nothing showing up here. Upcoming events, we've got nothing listed. So that is something to keep in mind. So what I will tend to do in a case like this, and this is not, this is not something I would take to the bank, but I like to take a look and see where they paid out last year. So last year they paid out right towards early January. So I would expect that's where we should be headed next. So I expect they have to announce something soon. Last year, they declared it last year around the middle of December, so they haven't done that yet. All right, that's interesting that they haven't declared it yet. So going back to the news, now I'm like, all right, so there's some changes, but to who? XEQT. Oh, they changed. Oh, they dropped the management fee. I don't know if you saw this. The management fee was at 0.18. It's now 0.17. So there you go. A little bit more return for you. Yeah, that's the only thing I can see in here right now. So right now they haven't announced it yet. That's the simple answer. BT Gold had that issue. Yes, BT Gold did have that issue. That was absolutely. Scratch says, seems like BT Gold is still cheap. Cowboy, in the last 6 months, I went from primarily stocks to ETFs and split cores. Very few stocks now. Yeah, and I do like, I'm warming up to split core. Like, I think initially, like back in the day, so back in the early part of the pandemic, if you were interested in income investing, split cores was one of the main ways that you could get some of the better yields. And of course, as we went into the pandemic and they started suspending dividends, a lot of people didn't understand what was going on, and I think a lot of people don't understand the structure of split core. Now, that's a great segue to Tuesday's video. Tuesday's video, I've got a couple of guys from 9 Point who are going to talk about the split core that they have over there. It's a great video. I think by the end of that video, you guys will understand split cores a lot better. So, it's a good one. Definitely you want to check this one out. Scratch for a mid-tier producer. Let's see. They had issues in Mali, but haven't recovered. Yeah, I think that's where it was. It was Mali. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I never really liked B2. Because I know I've looked at them before, but they've never really been. I never really gravitated towards them. But I'm glad that issue is. I'm glad that the Mali situation has improved, but I still would like to see them. I would like to see them succeed for sure. Do you follow SDE Spartan Delta or its spin-off Logan Energy? Are you bullish for 2016 Canadian natural gas? I have not been following SDE, but let's actually take a look here. I'm kind of curious. Oops, I'll bring up my screen here. All right, SDE, here we go. Spartan Delta, there we go. Oh, look at this. They had a pretty good day. They went up 4.444% on Friday. I like that. That's a good move. All right. Yeah, I like the movement that we're seeing. So right now, their shape looks good. Let's go in here. Their earnings per share are in the positive. I like that. Doesn't look like they have a dividend. All right, that's fine. Let's go into their key data here and take a gander. Their debt to equity is actually pretty good, only 21%. Their return on equity, oh boy, guys, we keep seeing this number, 6.66%. Not bad. It's not bad. I mean, obviously, you guys know I like it a little higher, but yeah, I don't see anything in here that looks that abnormal. Now this, they used to have a dividend back in the day. It looks like they had in 2022 and 2023, but I ignore that because sometimes companies reinvent themselves, and I don't know if that's a situation here because, like I said, these are brand new companies to me. I've not really looked at them. I see nothing, no alarm bells looking at their back end. I do still like natural gas. I think any form of energy at this point is going to be in high demand, especially as more and more AI data centers come online. So that's something to keep in mind. That is something to keep in mind for sure. All right, let's see here. Scratch. Said, told my mom to take a small position on SDE, but she went all in, and now it is one of her best performers. Nice. You gotta love it when somebody doesn't listen to you and ends up winning big time as a result. That's always good. I mean, even if I love a stock, I usually won't go all in. But to me, that's just diversification. It makes sense to me to be a little safer than that. But I'm glad it worked out in her favor. Glad I could set you up. JE says, right now, Waymo is causing traffic due to no traffic lights. You would have thought AI is ready by now. You would think so. I mean, AI is a progress. And I think as well, sometimes it boils down to how you're implementing it too. It's like you want to make sure that it can handle what you're trying to make it do. Don't just sort of throw it in. Boy. Morley, it is the first day of winter today. At least tomorrow we start to go more brighter days in the markets also. Yes. So today is the darkest day of the year. So we've now entered winter. And it's funny, winter is that month when the days are getting longer. While if you look at the other end, summer is the month or the season when days are getting shorter. So kind of funny. But yeah, now At least if we have anybody here from Australia, you guys are having a good. Winter is your good season. It gets nice and hot. Let's see, Scratch. Maybe the return on equity percentage of SDE merit that Christmas goat video. No, Scratch. No. The Christmas goat video is, yeah, there's a way to get to it, but that's not it. But I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the attempt a lot. Scott says my biggest gainers on Friday were mining penny stocks, OCO and FF. Nice. Yeah, I mean, this is the funny thing. And you guys know I'm not a big fan of penny stocks. Well, here, let's actually bring one of those up as I talk. We'll go with OCO. Here we go. So, Oracle Resource. All right, now look at this. This company. Well, all right. They're a little bit all over the board. But they had a very good day on Friday. They were up, 16.10%. You got to love it. The only problem is that, yes, as we have a big boom within this sector, there's going to be a lot of penny stocks that will do well. There's going to be a lot of them, for sure. The only problem I still have is if things change, and things can change. So right now, we're all very bullish on this sector, but a black swan event of some sort could come along and could change it. It could. Will it happen? I don't think so, but nobody ever can predict a black swan event. It's sort of like, it's like that Monty Python skit, the Spanish Inquisition. It's like nobody predicts the Spanish Inquisition. It's like that. It could happen. And that's what always worries me with penny stocks, is that if something happens, if there's a market reversal, do they have the resources to weather it? And the answer is not always right. It's not always yes. Sometimes, like for example, in recessions, a lot of companies that do go out of business are penny stocks. They're the little guys. Those are the ones that sometimes fall by the wayside. So to me, that's an extra level of risk I don't like to have. Even though I might look at a company like this and say, okay, they're doing fantastic. Well, this one here, I mean, I don't look at this as being fantastic. They're making ups and downs, and I would have to I would want to know why this is happening, because I don't know. I don't know from looking at this, and it's kind of my first look. Now let's just take a look at the other one, FF. Of course, as soon as I see FF, I think of the Fantastic Four, but that's hilarious. So yeah, First Mining Gold. Oh, I like that. Now this one's another story. I like this one better than the first one. Just the shape. Now I do not yet know what's going on their back end. Let's just do that quickly. Take a look here. Now this one's not profitable. They've got a negative return on equity, so I'm not super happy about that. But I certainly would want to know what's going on. I would also like to know when this data is from, because as I mentioned before, guys, no, it's not giving me anything there. I'm just going to go over to the news for a second, see if we have. Let's see. Let's see. $6 million proceeds. Nice. All right, this is kind of good. They have a new partnership to advance Cameron Gold project. See, this is the good stuff. Like going through the news, you can see some stuff. You can say, okay, so far what I'm seeing in the news is looking pretty positive. So I do like that. Now, I don't know. All right, third quarter results were November. So basically, we're about in the middle. We're about in the middle of their earnings report. So with that being said, when we look at this big, massive growth in here, it's not reflective in their numbers yet. It's not reflective. Now, I'm not saying that they're now profitable. They might not be. Sometimes a new company takes years to get profitable, but their numbers might be a little better than what we're seeing already. So that is something I would keep into consideration. But also keep in mind, I do not buy penny stocks, so I wouldn't actually buy this one, but um, definitely one worth watching. And, if you were wanting to get into a penny stock like this, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying know what you're getting into, and I wouldn't over diversify into it by any means. If anything, for me, a stock like this, um, if you've got a certain amount of play money, yeah, throw it into this. Maybe it'll actually do really well, and that would be fantastic. And right now, if it's a mining penny stock, I think you've got a better chance than pretty much any other sector. All right, Cowboy, like the guy who invented in Cisco Food, not Cisco Systems, made a large amount of money. Let's see, Oracle is copper in Mexico and has all approvals. Next is start digging. Oh, now here's new information on the Oracle. So that was the one we were looking at before. I do like that. Copper. Oh boy. And you guys know I'm very bullish on copper. So, now I think I like Oracle a little better, maybe. I don't know. They're still both penny stocks. Black Swan, Orange Clown. What's the difference? um, sometimes not a lot. Let's see. Michael says SDE paid a $10 cash dividend in 2023 when they sold 1.6 billion of assets to Vern, I believe, and spun off LGN for pure natural gas play growth. Where Spartan Delta side doubled in 2025, my guess is LGN may too. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that explains that. All right, let's see here. Level 2 orange clown warning in effect for all markets. Yes. Liberation Day was the best buy moment in 2025. Thanks, Orange Clown. Yeah, Liberation Day was Liberation Day made as big of a dent in the market as the announcement of the pandemic back in March of 2022. So I could use another day like that. That's for sure. Let's see. Michael says if you like gold and copper, then perhaps you like Mux McEwen Mining seems to have a good copper play in Argentina, but just gold production for now. I do like McEwen. I've looked at them before. So yeah, I would agree with you. Let's see. That's when I bought. Got to have Truth Social in Canada in order to buy the biggest dips. Well, you can have Truth Social here if you want to, um, but that's the thing. Because yeah, in some situations, sometimes he does gives a heads up that he's about to do something stupid that, or not. Let's just not say stupid. Something that will depress the market. He's about to make a depressing move. All right. Let's see. Yeah, my penny stocks are just a couple grand. Awesome. It's like catching a falling knife just after it hit the floor. Have a copper penny stock to replace the leftover from stock buys. All right. There we go. Awesome. Oh, it's time for some coffee again. Oh gosh, so good. So good for sure. With Orange Cloud, it's alternative truth. Um, I don't even know if it just seems to me that he kind of makes up data as he goes. Whatever suits whatever he's thinking. It's like, huh, should I look up these numbers? Nah, I'll just make them up. It'll be fine. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I actually find it interesting too. Like especially with if you've ever heard him talking about the pharmaceuticals, it's like, yeah, we brought the price down 600%. It's like, do you understand math? Because once you've brought it down 100%, you've basically made it free. You go more than that, it's like the drug companies are now paying you. Not to say it wouldn't be good to be paid to do drugs. Well, okay, well, that sounded weird, but um, Epstein, Epstein files are back in the news. Yes. So they were supposed to be released. I think was it Thursday? I think Thursday, but I heard that some were released, and it's a mess. Of course, it's a mess, and some of it's redacted, and apparently it's not supposed to be redacted, and some files are missing. I think it'll be a mess for a while, guys. I wouldn't look for Epstein file free news for a while. Let's see. That was great, Candace. Can't wait. I can't wait, Candace, miss. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see. It's not a lie. It's alternative truth. Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, I'm just gonna, I'll just decide what the truth is, and we'll make it up as we go. Yeah, that happens. It's, and I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like there are, he says things that are so obviously wrong, but yet his followers eat it up. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Michael says, is there an ETF for oil and gas you like? I was thinking of getting back into Eric Nuttall. I currently hold XEG. That's the iShares one. Let me show you. XEG. This is their capped energy. So this has been the one that I have been attracted to. So, but there's a lot of different ones out there, but this just happens to be one that I do like. Now this here is, like I said, this is a dividend growth one. And in the last year, now it actually, it started the year at about 1680 something. So they've done well in the last year, considering the fact that energy wasn't fantastic in the last year, but I do like XCG. I've liked them for a long time, for sure. Or truth as he sees it. There we go. The Epic Coder, which is better to buy? TD, CIBC, RBC, BMO, BNS. You left out National Bank. It's actually funny. If I was thinking of just a single stock, I probably would go with National Bank, so NA, out of that list, only because they of course just acquired Canadian Western Bank, and they've also picked up the retail footprint from Laurentian. So they've been expanding big time. So they have a lot more room to grow, I think, than the others. Now, a lot of the others are expanding into other markets, US, Latin America, different things like that, which is great. But I would say that if you're actually looking to get exposure to the Canadian banking system, there's a lot of great ETFs. Now, the question, of course, being, do you want income, or are you looking for more of a dividend growth? If you're looking for a dividend growth, even something like ZEB, that's the BMO one. So that's a equal weight bank one. That's pretty good. It gives you good exposure to the six. If you're of course looking for something that has a little bit of income, something like bank, as Rory just sort of mentioned down here. This is the Evolve one. Now that's a covered call one. It will give you a pretty good income, and you're going to get a bit of growth too, but you are losing a little bit of that upside potential in the process to exchange, of course, for the income. So yeah, there's definitely, I would absolutely think an ETF is probably a better option with the Canadian banking system, just to get that diversification instead of trying to pick one or the other. But like I said, if you do want to just pick a single bank, I think National Bank has the most room to grow. But at the same time, Royal Bank, so RY, and CM, so CIBC, those have both been doing pretty good in the last year. Doesn't guarantee they're going to do really well in the next year, but well, let's hope. I do think the banking sector is going to do pretty good in 2026, so that is always a good thing. Scratch says OBE is cheap, really cheap, and the CEO buyback shares again this week. So OBE, yeah, I actually added them. Well, Scratch gave me a super and said you have to use it to buy OBE. But yeah, I do have it in the 0 to 100K challenge. So this is Obsidian Energy right here. I'll pull up their last year. So they've been, they are, well, they're about even. they're about the same spot they entered the year. But I do think overall, I think energy will have a better 2026 than 2025. There's going to be a few different factors in there as well. One of the factors, of course, is power demand for AI data centers. If we continue to build more and more of these through 2026, that could have a positive spillover into the energy sector, which is great. Also, right now we are looking at there's a good chance OPEC may not continue to increase their output. They might actually pull it back a little bit, depending, because right now Donald Trump, he has been doing everything he can to keep oil and gas low, because that sort of cushions the impact of the American public of all of his tariffs. So he wants it low, but OPEC does not. And we'll have to see who wins that battle. All right. Let's see. Zenil says HCal if you want maximum growth. And Cowboy saying bank pays at 11 cents. Nice and steady so far. Yeah. John says bank increased the distribution to 12. Did they actually announce that? Let's take a look. I did not realize that they had done that. All right, well, we'll pull it up. All right, here we go. And, well, you know what? Let's just go to the news. We'll go to the news. That is always the first place to go. Evolve announces 2025, or December. Evolve announces annual. Evolve announces, okay. Let's go to this one here. Let's pull it up here. Biggie, Canny, and Sixy. There we go. Let's see here. Bank. Yeah, you're right. Look at this. 12 cents. 12 cents now. So, yeah, bank is currently at 12. At 12. Nice. Good catch, John. Good catch. Yeah, all right. Gosh. I like that a lot. The banks in Canada will be good until the American banks get in here. Well, here's the thing, though. Even though Donald Trump says, "Oh, there's no U.S. banks in Canada," well, no, there's they can come into Canada. They have different rules because there's different scheduled banks and there's rules for foreign banks, but there's nothing stopping them. There's nothing stopping them from coming in. So it's not like we're going to open up the floodgates and have a whole bunch of American banks come in, because they can already come in. So that's kind of a non-issue, even though Donald Trump has made noise about it, but it's not a big issue. Scott says there's nothing stopping American. Oh, there we go. Scott, you just said what I said. But yeah, there's nothing stopping American banks coming here. They just need to have a Canadian headquarters and adhere to our regulations. None of them want to. Exactly. Exactly. Cowboy says the American banks can't meet the requirements. It's not that they can't meet them. They just don't want to meet them. There's a difference between can't and don't want to. I think a lot of times, I think the American banks would love to just come in here and take over, and that's not going to happen. Our banking system in Canada is very, very resilient by design. So that's, that is going to be, that's not something we're going to give up on. We're not going to sort of sacrifice our design to make Donald Trump happy. Nah. Not at all. Is TD an American bank? Well, the T and TD is Toronto. So Toronto Dominion. Actually, they used to be Toronto Bank and also Dominion. I think there were two separate banks at one point, and then they merged. But yeah. Cowboy, we have enough problems without Jamie Dimon. There we go. I would agree. I would agree. Oh, boy. All right. What can I say? All right, guys. Well, we're at 2 hours. So if you got your last minute questions, I don't know if I asked this already or not. I might have, but if you got your last minute questions, get them on in. Let's do that. I'm gonna have some coffee here while you guys are coming up with any final questions you got. Of course, sometimes the final questions take an hour. Sometimes it just depends. Let's see. Do you follow banks outside of Canada, like NU in South America or SoFi in the USA? There's a few different things. Like if I'm looking outside of Canada, I will look for something diversified because I know I'm not going to spend the time looking at all the individual banks in another country. So, for example, you got eBank. eBank, of course, does the European banks. They've been doing really, really well. Now, that one is an income fund. So you're getting some really good dividends with it. And they've actually done really, really well. Let me pull them up here. Let's pull up eBank. All right, so this is your European, Evolve Europeans Bank. All right, and I'll pull up just the last year. And as you can see here, like, look at this. Now, this is a covered call. They've gone from $11 to almost $16. That is crazy growth. And in addition to all of that, you're getting almost an 11% dividend, so 10.94%. So that's pretty big. Yikes. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit less, what's the word? Less incomey, more growth oriented. Here's another nice little nugget. It's called, this here is the Hamilton Australian Bank Equal Weight, HBA. And I'll pull up the 1 year on this one. Now, this is not as impressive as eBank, but I think it's still a very steady sector. So they've gone up from about 28.39 to 30.28. Now with this one here, you're getting a small distribution of about 4%, but they're another banking system. Actually, the Australian banking system is not that different than the Canadian. So those are just a couple of examples of Australia and Europe. I like them both. TD bought out Canada Trust. I believe they did. Everyone have a great green Christmas rally. See you all tomorrow. Thanks again, Candace. Enjoy the rest of your day, Scratch. All right. And Scott says, is there a CDR for Mercado Libre? There should be, if not. I think there is. I'm going to Google it, but I think that might be one of the BMO ones. Or not BMO. Who is it? Is it BMO? Let's see. BMERCADOLIBRE CDR. Here we go. Let's see here. I thought there was. I could have swore that there was one. All right, let's just see here. Let's just do it this way. Canada CDRs. All right, Canadian CDRs. Oh, it's RBC. It's RBC. All right. Why do I just assume everything is everything is Bank of Montreal, but all right, accept all cookies, sure. All right, let's take a look here. CDR, show me your list. I probably, you know what I should do, guys? I should make a bookmark. I should make a bookmark so I don't have to keep hunting for these things here. That's not giving me anything. Let me just take a look. Are we sure it's Royal Bank? Let's just go here. RYCDRs. Let's try it this way. There's the CIBC ones right up at the top. Canadian. All right, here we go. Here's the directory. Oh, it is BMO. It is BMO. Haha. I was right originally. Okay. Mercedes. Why do I feel like there's Mercedes-Benz? Oh. All right. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't yet. I was thinking of Mercedes-Benz. That's what I was thinking of. So yeah, there should be. I agree. All right. Rory says, same Merry Christmas rally. I hope so. Any idea how many U.S. banks failed in the 2028 crash? That's a good question. I don't have a number, but yeah, I mean, that was pretty brutal for sure. Libra, is that the fool's calling card? I do not know. Silver is grinding at the OPE for a new all-time high. Slowly leave banks for physicals. TD is up from 73 to 128. 8, according to Tony. Let's take a look. Let's take a gander here. That seems like a lot, but it's not that surprising with the Canadian. Holy banana bread. There we go. I just got to close a couple things so that I can actually see my tabs. All right, let's look at TD for the year. I mean, TD, all of the Canadian banks have done really, really well over the last year. And TD, one of the things, look at this. 76, yeah. Well, you said 73, so $75.50 they opened a year ago. Now that there is on the 24th of December last year. But yeah, they're up big time for sure. And that's really impressive considering the whole money laundering scandal. That kind of put them down a little bit. Now, mind you, let's go out 3 years. You know what? This is kind of that scandal right in there. So it didn't really hurt them that much. I mean, look at this. This is just incredible. And you're seeing that in the bank system. Like I think anything anything that invested in Canadian banks last year, it did well. No doubt about it. Scott says happy holidays. After the money laundering slap. Yeah. But you know what? They did. I mean, they did everything by the book at that point. Not before that, but they took all of the actions that they needed to. They made the restitutions. There were some changes in management. That can clean up quite a bit for sure. Michael says Goldman Sachs calling for $52 oil in 2026. I'd love to see oil a little higher right now. Because keep in mind, when you look at WTI, so West Texas Intermediate, normally, if you actually look at the Canadian oil, what is that? CWS, Canadian Western Select, it's always a little lower. So there's a bit of a discount on it. And that's part of the whole thing that they've been talking about with the U.S. Like when, we're going to tariff Canadian oil, and it's like you're getting a great deal with Canadian oil because we sell it at a discount. That's the discount that we're talking about. Prairie says, from our home to yours, wishing everyone a joyous holiday season. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Xenial, TD had the most upside since the money laundering incident and took over 3 years to reach 2022 highs. Watch Christine Guerrero presentation on oil. On it in to win it. Scrap the news and follow the facts. All right. Merry Christmas, bah humbug, your choice. Wow. At least you're covering all grounds, cowboy. You're covering both sides of the spectrum, that's for sure. Actually, one of my favorite Christmas movies I watch every year, Patrick Stewart did a Scrooge movie. I think it was for like Lifetime or something like that. It was a made-for-TV movie, but I like it. So I've got it. I have a video copy of it. I watch that every Christmas once. That's my one Christmas movie I watch because Patrick Stewart, he's a really good actor. He's a really good actor for sure. Whoops. Michael said PED has no debt with new wells that break even, that trades around 54, that looks oversold with price target was $2, that has partnership and no dividend. Okay. Fair enough. I'm not here to offend. All right. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let me know when it's over so that I can send my best wishes to everyone before the end of the stream. I've been caught 2 times now. All right. Well, we're at about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I think we're there, Scratch. Go ahead, Scratch. You send your best wishes, and you know what? I'll highlight your best wishes and we'll end on that. There we go. We'll do that for you, Scratch. So there we go, guys. We are going to end when we get Scratch's message. Well, I'll pull it up and I'll say goodbye and all of that for you guys. So I love it. What can I say? I'm just glad my mouse is working because that was Not fun, but you know what? I love the versatility of the Mac system because the fact I could control my mouse from my lap on the computer from the laptop, that was fantastic. All right, guys, here we go. Best wishes, everyone. Wish you all the best. Absolutely. We'll be back here tomorrow, guys. We will have a market close, and there'll be an opportunity to have a Tuesday one if you want. Also, keep in mind, on Wednesday, the market close will begin at 12:30 Eastern. So it's going to be early because the market's closing early, and we will be here Christmas morning. And we'll have a live stream Christmas morning. So until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for your wishes, Scratch. All right. Oh, I got to go big screen. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then,